Hey everybody, welcome to Hit Rewind. Guess Christmas special? I don't know. None of these are Christmassy, so I don't know the fuck I'm
I
talking
don't
about.
I don't think any of them. I mean, like one of them takes place in Russia, which is cold. That's the closest one, I think.
Yeah. Well, usually this time of year we do Christmas movies of sorts, but I kind of think we ran out of anything worth discussing that was Christmas oriented. At least old school. There's some good stuff coming out these days, like lower budget horror films, but that's not what we're here for.
No,
um,
I think we pretty much did the apex. We did
yeah.
everything that we could. Really, I mean, there's definitely some out there, but like once you do the entire Silent Night, Deadly Night series, like you kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Um,
Except for the fifth one. That one was pretty good.
I can't even remember which one's fucking which. Is that the toy maker?
Yeah,
All right.
that was a good one.
Oh, hey, but no, there is Silent Night, the remake from 10 years ago, and then a new one just came out last week.
Yeah,
Ah,
I saw that. I didn't. I mean, I didn't see the movie. I saw that it was in theaters,
yeah.
and my heart died a little, but that's okay. We'll keep
So
moving.
I would love to say all of these are classy, and I get the intentions of our first choice, Death Wish. I kind of get what they were originally intending, but Michael Winner, not exactly known as the best, most subtle director. And the series is kind of known for very exploitative elements, especially the first three that were directed by him. Um, you ever thought that maybe you could get your message across and just allude to what happens? Did you fast forward? Because I couldn't take it. I could not take it.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. It is one of the most brutal sexual assault scenes.
I almost wonder if Michael Winner thought, hey, you will understand the road that Paul Kersey goes on into, descending into hell by showing this absolutely raw and as real as possible. Maybe that was his original intention, but definitely not with two and three. That was purely like this will sell on video and at the
Right.
drive-in in the grindhouse.
But I mean, like, the thing about it, like, and we can, discuss whether or not it's in good taste or not. Like, I'm a huge defender of Game of Thrones, for its, depiction of sexual assault as like this is time setting and world building. I understand the intent behind it. This I don't think has intent because he's not even there for that. So I think it's more just exploitative.
Yeah. Um, uh, uh, Basically the first vigilante movie. The formula that of vigilante movies. There were movies where it was like a western and the guy's family got killed by whatever. Like Handy Calder, I think we did some time
Yeah.
back, which was 3 years before this. But the element of society is crumbling. The liberal man that decides that he needs to change his ways and take up arms and kill people to
Yeah, it was
right.
like in the vein of Straw Dogs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I think Straw Dog's actually before this, but it's
Oh,
still
okay.
it's still not the same formula. You know what I mean? Like there's 100,000 clones of Death Wish.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them even studio films. Uh, like the Loved One, I think whatever it is, it's the one with Jodie Foster. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like the same exact formula. But it's all basically here. And this makes Charles Bronson a star. Like he's done very well internationally. The Mechanic did okay in America, but Death Wish is one of those where it was holy shit. You knew you were big time when you got a spoof in Mad Magazine, which is insane to me.
It's weird to think about now, but yeah, that was much more of a big deal back
Yeah.
then.
The I want to say it's his best performance, but who knows? It's like saying Jason Statham's best performance.
It is hard to tell.
Yeah, he's a very repressed, restrained man, but there's flints of like stuff going on behind his eyes and his motivations, and it is one of his better written characters. So maybe that's the reason why it seems like it's a
What
better
was the
performance.
one that we watched? The Stone something?
The Stone Killer, yeah, the one right
Yeah,
before
yeah.
this, yeah, that was fun, but he doesn't really give much of a performance. He has more dialogue, that's for fucking sure.
I guess that's true. I'm mistaking him talking as having character.
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
Um, of course, Once Upon a Time in the West is probably our favorite, of his.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he whatever it is. But yeah, this one, like watching this descent of a guy who tried to be. How do you say? Do you think that this was always in him, and he just repressed it because, hey, it's the 70s. I got to be a modern man. I have to be civilized, and I believe in democratic and liberal ideas. This is who I'll be. I have to follow the law. And then it was all a mask, or do you literally think that he was broken mentally?
See, yeah, I don't know. Like that's one of those things that's really interesting to talk about. I feel like this movie kind of has commentary about that, where it in the sense of like he's not necessarily heroic, and he seems more just like a paranoid, schizophrenic mess. That
Yeah.
like what this road turns him into, and then of course sequels kind of just play for fun. But it really, I feel like this one definitely hits on something that's fascinating. I tend to lean more, and I think this is because of my psychology background, that it was always there, and it's just something that was allowed to escape from him.
Yeah. There are, I mean, we are essentially fucking animals, men, that is. It's fuck, eat, sleep, kill. That's the basic settings for a lot of men. Some of us actually have more emotional maturity and empathy.
I don't endorse that statement, by the
No,
way.
no, I'm not saying not you, but I said there's a lot of men who are. Clearly, if you look at how their voting record goes. Where the only thing keeping them at bay is letting them hunt once a year to kill a deer so they don't kill human beings. I don't know, like, watch football, people mash each other, UFC. There's a tendency for violence and just the basic animalistic needs in a lot of men.
I think there is a desire especially in the U.S., just the need for bloodshed. We really enjoy full contact sports, things like that. And when you look at things like UFC, it's just the gladiators of today, and they're talked about and worshipped in the same terms.
Yeah, but a lot of what's going on, like this discussion of, your belief systems aren't working. The guy from Texas that hires him to, because he's an architect to work on a project for him. The whole time basically like wiggling his ideas into his brain because he knows he's susceptible at this moment. That he could be. It's like when men get recruited into militias and the KKK and stuff like that. Oh, they usually strike them at a weak moment, and that's how you get in, and you rewire their brains.
Yeah, because like the idea of kind of what he becomes, he's not enacting violence to solve any problem that he personally has. This is more just like letting out that rage and anger that he has.
Yeah, it's a lot of videos. God, that reminds me of Liam fucking Neeson. Remember that story where he said, "I just want to hunt down any black man." You're like, "What the fuck, Liam?"
I mean, I'll give him credit for being that honest.
Yeah.
I do think there are people whose brains just operate in that way, who's just like the immediate thought, and he knows that it's messed up to think that. It's just like this immediate belief that your brain connects, and I've definitely worked with people who do have brains that work that way, where it's just like I noticed a pattern of something happening, and now my brain just kicked into overdrive and just mold on that forever and built this idea.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Death Wish is that unlike almost every single vigilante movie ever made, he never finds his target. He never finds the people responsible because most of them, I got the guy responsible for killing so-and-so. Now my life can go back to normal. He's never going back to normal. It's never going to be that. Death not only is something that he brings, it follows him everywhere. You watch everyone, and just anybody connected to him gets slaughtered. And there's something kind of interesting about the fact that he never even asked questions really beyond the initial first week. Of who are the killers? Can I have some idea? He doesn't go to the shop to investigate. He doesn't, go undercover with gangs. It's like he wasn't really even interested in finding those killers. He just wanted to find anybody who was outside the law and make them fucking pay. And it's never going to end.
Right. And then I also think that there's kind of this ultimate irony in the series that the sexual assault does play kind of a key moment in a few of those movies where he's kind of perpetually living the same problem over and over again. And no matter how many times he reacts with violence, it never solves the issue.
And right around this time, we have the Punisher who's going after the mob. And there's a very successful line of books called The Executioner, starring Mark Bolan or whatever it was. And there's seriously 270 books. But it's always him hunting down the mob. And this one is not gang. It's not like that kind of mafia. It's just regular, everyday fucking street hooligans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And despite as much as like I've kind of maybe overly intellectualized this first movie, I do still really enjoy number 3. I do enjoy.
Oh yeah, it's comic
how
book.
ridiculous. Yeah, I understand going that direction because like obviously the third one's the one that anybody talks about. So I get that impulse to kind of just lean to the absurd.
Yeah.
But I do think that the first one was kind of an interesting character study.
I wonder if it's the first movie to really present street gangs as mixed race. If that was intentional so that the movie didn't come off as racist, or, I mean, there are a lot of black people that he kills, good lord. But it does seem like it's kind of an
In
idea
every movie, yes. That's usually his first target.
Yeah. But I do believe at some point there was like a legitimate idea that they were really trying to get across. And it's so funny is that Brian Garfield, the guy who wrote the original novel, was so angry at how the franchise went. He was like, no, my point was violence is not the answer, that it destroys everything in its path. So then he had to write Death Sentence, which got made into a movie with Kevin Bacon where you see...
that one's really good.
Yeah, that one's the absolute brutal reality of trying to get revenge.
Yeah. And then which one came first? I should have looked this up because I was thinking about it. Assault on Precinct 13, before or after this?
I believe Assault is the year after this.
Okay, because that was the first movie that I remember being like multiracial gangs, where it wasn't, they were dedicated to a specific cause, not necessarily related to anything that's personal to them.
Yeah, Dino regrets selling the rights to Canon Pictures, and I wonder what would have happened if he was able to make a sequel. Would it have been in better taste, or just like completely unmemorable? We would have no ridiculous stories about the rest of the franchise.
Right, I think that's kind of the unfortunate thing about Canon getting their paws on it. I mean, it's a great movie, but it does kill the franchise dead in its tracks.
Yeah. All right, our next film is Charley Varrick, a movie I have seen before, but I don't think I've seen since probably about 2000, 2001 on AMC, and I only ever saw like the last half. And whatever reason it was, I just kept holding off or whatever. I'll get around to it one day, and I watched it. And maybe this is hyperbole. This is a top 5 movie for me of the 70s. This thing is a fucking masterpiece. I absolutely loved it.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a little slow at first, but once the twist kind of happens, it made everything worth it. And it really is reminiscent of No Country for Old Men in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's this inevitable thing that's going to happen because you chose. And the funny thing is, everybody thinks they did it deliberately, that it's an inside job. Walter Matthau is playing completely and utterly against type. He did this for like 3 or 4 movies where he played dead serious roles, because most people know him as comedic. But he is a small-time heist guy, just doing a small-town bank in the middle of nowhere with his sidekicks, and it goes wrong, horribly wrong. For once,
half of them are dead. Like that. That's what I love that detail. Like, these guys are not the best crew. This is not the most brilliant group of folks out there. These are just desperate people.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if this was, I don't know if he mentions it, but this is like a new thing. Maybe they did smaller heists, and this is like, okay, this is the big time. We're going to get like $100,000 or something,
No, that's actually a detail that they pointed out that I really liked, was that he was saying that a bank that small would have like less than $10,000. Like, they were not expecting a huge payday.
Okay, and maybe that's why there was more armed guard kind of situation going on. Okay. So half the crew dies, and there's a whole chase sequence for the first half, and then the driver is literally dying as they're driving, and he's trying to keep her alive. That is his wife, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he took the ring.
Yeah, and he's dealing with the loss the whole time, but this is a very restrained performance for a guy who's kind of animated. Like, there's this turmoil, and everything in his mind seems like he's working out a chess game, like just moving the pieces around. Okay, this won't work, this won't work, this won't work, whatever. And he has a kid, the killer, the Zodiac killer from Dirty Harry, played by Andrew Robinson, who is completely fucking reckless, full of himself, and very dangerous.
Dangerous to him and himself.
Yeah.
Like, the basic premise is that they knock off a small bank, expecting a small payout and hoping to kind of get away with it. Because if it's a small amount, there's really, like, they're going to look for a couple of weeks and then that's it. They can go on and do something else or move or whatever. But the problem is they get home, they realize they have about $750,000,
Right.
which in today's money is over $5 million. And he immediately starts checking the bills like, there's no way these are real, because how is there this much money here?
Yeah, and it turns out it's mafia money. This is their secret little storage area. And now, it was John Vernon is leading that area of the mob's money, and they hire a special. I did not expect Joe Don Baker to be like this.
Yeah,
really.
that was the surprise. I was like, oh, okay. It's definitely okay. So we're casting against type for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's usually playing a dumb shit redneck. I mean, yeah, walking tall, but still, he was kind of his name's Buford Pusser, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So he's basically playing a mob enforcer. He's going after the money. And again, the thing that I absolutely love is details, which this movie goes over so well. Like, when the mob enforcer basically goes to the guys like, hey, our bank was robbed, and here's all the info we have, which is pretty much nothing, because these are just like, these are not big time bank robbers, so no one knows who the hell they are. And the enforcer's first reaction is to just leave and be like, I'm not getting involved in this, because this is clearly an inside job. Like, when you look at all of the details, like, there has to be somebody on top who's skimming, which is an incorrect assumption, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it goes on this different diverging path that doesn't really, I don't want to say doesn't go anywhere, definitely does, but it's not part of the whole, but it makes sense that you would follow up on it.
Well, the funny thing is, Walter Matthau is working those pieces out in his head too, and he gets to use that to his benefit at the very end.
Right, yeah.
But yeah,
everything kind of comes together. But yeah, it's just like every small thing that you think of, or maybe don't even think about in a situation like this, is mulled over in a lot of detail.
What I think is funny is that nobody can be trusted. Absolutely nobody. He goes to people he thinks he can just drop a hint to. Like, hey, do you launder money? Okay, cool. I may call you back. And that's just enough of a tip. Or he goes to the woman for the fake IDs, and she drops a dime on him too, because none of these people want to be on the wrong side of the mob, And
no,
I think
you do not.
But it still goes wrong for both of them, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Because that's the thing. Like, they're in, everybody is caught up in the middle, does not want to have any part of it.
Yeah.
And so he kind of uses that to his advantage to try to stay one step ahead and to try to control information, because he'll know where people will be if he says, hey, I'll pick these up at midnight. Then he knows that if there's someone following him, they'll be there at midnight. So there's kind of like this interesting circular information going on.
Right. And so I was shocked when Sherry North, the one who's making the fake IDs, Joe Don Baker looks like he's going to fucking kill her or beat her or something like that. He just slaps or whatever. And she's like, like all kinky and shit. I was like, oh,
some strange stuff going on.
Yeah. But it's such a multi-layered movie outside of just great performances. There's so many surprises. The showdown at the end is incredibly original. I'd never really seen anything like it. And they call Dirty Harry Don Siegel's, best movie, and I say no. This is his next one, Charley Varrick. That's his best movie. Mm-hmm. Didn't do very well.
Yeah, it's great all around. It's hard to really have anything to say other than you should watch it, because it's really good.
I will say that explosion, I won't say where and when or how, fucking amazing. So I was shocked by it. Master of editing and good dummies. All right, so the last two were chosen by you. Let's roll.
Yeah, I kind of went a different direction this time. I don't know what was going on with me when I suggested these, but I guess I had a theme in mind, which was just, topics about God and philosophy, and because I am a very pretentious dick who took philosophy courses in college, this was like right up my alley. And this was definitely not up your alley.
I took bowling class in college. That's I did like was it Aquirre? How do you say it? Which is also a villain in one of the Godzilla movies. That one I liked, and it was a little long though. But the Stalker one, look, I know the intention there, and I know they had no money for Russian filmmaking, but wow! But that's kind of his thing, is right? It's intentionally slow. He like Solaris is one of his.
Yes, Yes, exactly. That's his style.
Okay, explain Stalker to me, because I felt like a shithead, but I fast forwarded through a lot of it.
No, that's fine. I'm one of those people, like, if you're someone who thinks the original Star Trek the motion picture is too fast paced and action packed, this is your movie. It is a lot of looking and staring and empty shots of nothing. But the point of the movie is that this is sort of like Marxian philosophy. This is sort of about the Nietzschean idea of like God is dead and we killed him. It's sort of expanding on that idea, where there is basically this zone that's expanding in Russia, and it is creating some kind of temporal anomaly or distortion of reality. So there are people specifically called stalkers who enter into the zone and take people with them to kind of show them for money or whatever. But at the center of the zone, they believe is God. And when you're there, you can ask one thing of him, and he will grant it. Now, the crux of this is that our stalker is taking two people into the center. And he talks about this story of another stalker of his, or a friend of his who is a stalker, who requested wealth when his son was sick. And as punishment from God, his son was killed. And then he had killed himself. And I know you probably skipped through a lot of that.
I did.
Sorry. No, you're good. So when they do get to the center, it's as it turns out, these two guys are actually working with the government to destroy the zone, to go to the center, blow it up, and hopefully the zone will disappear.
Oh, okay.
Because like I said, it's expanding, so they want to destroy it. However, once they get to the center, they realize something, that it's just a room. That even if God is real, the thing that the man asked the other stalker was not for money, but to save his son. And the reason he got money is because God can't save his son. And so there's these limitations that even God has. So they basically decide not to blow it up because it doesn't matter. And this is sort of the idea of like, if we build a society that cares for its people, then God no longer exists. Because the thing that we pray for crops, for food, etc. Those are things we can provide. We don't need God anymore. And so that's kind of like the idea of what this movie is about.
Interesting. Okay. I mean,
also, several people died making it because they had to film because they have no money. So they filmed in a heavily polluted district. So
my God.
Like the water just naturally looked like that. And so several people got cancer and died.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a trip, man.
Wow. Well, I didn't take philosophy, but my mother was a pastor, and I really ruminate a lot around like the rules of the Bible, the hypocrisy. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't fit. Like it's a puzzle that people have apparently built, and I'm trying to put the pieces together. Whereas everybody else is like, it's just a box of pieces. Shut the fuck up and follow. And that's always bothered me. These things like, well, this doesn't fit with this. Well, how does that make sense? You're supposed to have faith. Fuck you. There is a banner.
That's the philosophy of this movie.
The
idea is like you have faith in your fellow man and your friends, your family. Like you don't opine about these things that aren't real or don't provide you anything that you can't get anywhere else.
Well, so I used to live near you, and people are a lot more open-minded in the city, especially in a blue state. I now live in a red state in a very small religious town. And finding people who are even willing to question the rules, especially of religion, are so few and far between. And I remember when I first started my job, I was talking to someone that I trusted about religion, and she was open-minded about it too. Like, she questions a lot. And I said, I don't really have faith in anything supernatural. You can't prove it's real, then I don't give a fuck. I can prove you're real. I can prove, and I started pointing to other people on my team. I can prove all of you are real. And that's what I put my faith in, is that we help each other to achieve our goals. That's where my faith is.
Yeah, I mean, that's this movie to a T, essentially.
Yeah, it's the balls to do that. I just wish I had the patience. It is awfully long. I'm sorry.
It's over 3 hours. Yeah, I don't blame anybody.
I got through the first hour before I started. Like, can I just kick it up a notch, and then I would watch like 20 minutes. Nope, nothing happened here. Oh, watch this.
So basically, the first hour they just entered the zone, right? That's kind
Yeah,
of
it's trying to travel to safety or whatever, and every
there's
once
like
in a while
a 15-minute there's like a 15-minute sequence where they're sitting on a train and you just watch and
yeah.
that's it.
Well, it's interesting is in a world like this though that's so sparse with so few people and so few things happening. I thought the point was even the most minute of things is interesting because their lives are now basically the most boring thing in history.
Interesting.
That was just a thought that popped in my head. What was with the people shooting at them in the beginning? I never figured that out. Just some random sniper?
That I watched this a while ago. I have to remember. Is this like before he goes into the second excursion?
You're right.
Okay, yeah. So being a stalker is illegal, so he was probably just skipping the zone.
Okay. All right, so
which he does go there frequently, which to the dismay of his wife, because he wants to be with God, but she wants him to be home.
that makes sense. Zealot. What our last film also is about religion, and it's go ahead. What do you say we call it? Aquirre, the Wrath of God, right?
Aquirre, I don't know how to
All
pronounce
right.
it.
Werner Herzog and Klaus Kinski's first collaboration, I think.
Yes. Other than trying to not be killed by Klaus Kinski, who was living with him for a while.
He talked about. I was looking it up.
Job.
They worked together 5 times. And he said he was the worst thing that I have ever experienced in my life, but he's also the most brilliant actor I've ever worked with.
I tend to agree with that. I've never seen him give a bad performance.
Yeah, it's so funny because he had to have been like a very well-respected actor, and maybe not everybody knew his behavior before they hired him. But you look at his filmography, and a lot of people wanted to work with him. By the 80s, though, it's like, well, he's successful at the box office. He's a fucking nightmare to deal with. Screw it, let's hire him. For these like Crawl Space and Creature.
Yeah,
and,
he's basically a homicidal version of Marlon Brando
or Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a side note. Gary Busey got dentures put in, but his teeth are still this. Why would you get dentures in the same goddamn size? There's something I don't understand.
I don't know what's going on in that brain. I don't think anybody does, even himself. So I just don't question it at this point.
But there's a short video on YouTube you should watch about David Stroller working with Klaus Kinski on Crawl Space, and I think it's called "I Must Kill Klaus Kinski." It's like 8 minutes long. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, he clearly has deep mental issues that never got addressed.
The demons he utilizes to give the performances he does. This is astounding. I started watching Fitzcarraldo and I was like, wait. I don't think we're this far. This is like 82. And then I realized what was happening. This one is a little slower and meticulous, and it is a long journey.
Which is crazy because it's only an hour and a half. I don't know why it feels like 3 hours.
Oh, mine was 2 hours, but maybe I watched a different version on Tubi.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But there is a lot.
I watched the same version on Tubi.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, he gives a hell of a performance. The funny thing is, he doesn't seem like he's the main character for a while.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the things that I think is really brilliant about this movie.
Well, he wasn't a name just yet. I think this makes him a name because if you look at his filmography before this, he's always like in a spaghetti western, but he's only in it for 10 minutes at most, and it's because German funding for this movie. That's what Italians would do. They would work with France, I think, and Spain and Germany, and that's how they made all their movies. They're like, well, we'll give you money if you cast somebody like Klaus Kinski, So he had been around for like 10 years before this, just playing villains, and this makes him a headliner now, mind you, not a studio name, but an independent, international name.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in the sense that when I was talking about him not being the main character, like, his character is sort of the main, because he is sort of, like, guiding the journey.
Yeah, well, as the movie...
He's doing it very quietly.
Yeah, as the movie goes on and on, he becomes increasingly more of the focus.
Yeah, because, like I said, he is sort of, like, the one who is, like, perpetuating this journey that's increasingly going nowhere, and everyone realizes that. But like at the beginning, he's keeping like the slaves in check. He's making sure that everyone is moving. Like he has like the job of a soldier at first, and then things keep slowing down because the journey is just too dangerous. People keep dying. things like that. And so when things trying to slow down, he keeps pushing forward, and then increasingly starts to become the focus.
Yeah, it's so funny watching them get picked off just so easily, and no one even notices half the time. Like, hey, did you see so and so? Oh yeah, I don't know. And he, like 5 minutes early, he just gets like he's walking last in the jungle, and the cannibals pick him off or whatever it was.
And sometimes it's from his own people. Like that's the kind of, I don't know if that was necessarily a thing that happened, but it's what I think happened, because it seems like they were utilizing distractions as a way to kill people in the camp.
Yeah, and this is a true story, right?
It's based on a true story. A lot of inspiration was taken from the story, but this is kind of it's written by Herzog, so this is not, he's not adapting anything.
Oh, okay. I thought this was a true story, and they like when they said they found the journal of the, I think the priest or whatever. That's what they took it from.
I don't think that part is true.
Okay.
There is a story. There is a real journey that happened.
It's so funny. Back then that would happen. Doomed Journeys of Discovery. I mean, fucking Donner Party.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rare you get a story like that.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. Was yours dubbed? I'm sure yours was.
It was, yeah.
It's so funny listening sometimes. Oh, that's clearly not his voice. That is ridiculous.
Which is funny because it was originally done in English because that was the only language everyone shared.
Yeah.
And then they redubbed it in everyone's native language, except for Klaus Kinski, who wanted too much money, of course, because he's insane.
Yeah. What is your favorite of the four? I already said mine.
Yeah. I think I gotta agree with you on these four. Like, as much as I enjoy Stalker as like an intellectual exercise, it's not a great movie to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I would revisit probably. Well, I don't know. Death Wish is getting harder to go back as I get older and realize I miss when it was on TV and they edit out the horrible parts. But Charley Varrick's the one I'm gonna go for because I was so surprised by so many things in that movie.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it too. It's like if you had to go back and watch one, it would be that one for me.
All right, everybody. That is it for this episode. Thank you, Kersey, very much.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to shoot into the future briefly because I'm a little burnt out on the 70s. So we're going to try to pick 4 movies from 2025 that we loved and discuss. All right, everybody. Have a good one.